Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. I am just getting started by showing you this client's previous set. I will link it in the cards for you to check out. This was, I think, the last summer set that I did. It is now so cool and so fall with the weather that it's pretty sad to see these go, but for sure we just got to go into the fall. I'm so excited for fall because it's my favorite season, and it's when we get to use those muted, more neutral kind of colors, deeper kind of matte colors. I'm so excited about that in terms of nails. But there you go. I removed them down as much as possible. There's still a small thin layer of acrylic on her natural nails, but that's totally fine. As usual, you see me getting started by spraying her down with some alcohol and using a rubber tipped cuticle pusher just to push the skin back. This is super gentle and doesn't have the ability to scrape or scratch the nail bed. So I'm literally just removing the skin that's stuck to that nail area so that I can then remove any of that sticky cuticle that's laying there. So I'm not sure what happened with the footage, but as you know, I went in with my diamond skiver bit before and kind of got up any of that dead skin that was kind of laying up under the eponychium area of her skin. Now I'm just going in with a medium sanding band. These are by Young Nails, love them. And I'm using my sanding band at a fairly slow speed, pretty slow, and I'm using extremely light touch just to buff the natural nail and to remove any further cuticle. So this client is getting back from vacation. Those nails that we did was for a really fun summer vacation. She's come back and has to go back to work. So she can't have long nails. So we are just going to start her with a nice shorter set this time. And she was curious about trying an almond shape, like a wider almond. So that's definitely what we're gonna be doing. So just really quickly, just sizing her up with these generic kind of clear nail tips. I usually use these on my clients who don't get longer length of nails. I don't see the point in wasting my really nice tips to cut them all the way down. So whenever I have a client who's short to medium length, I use either these or the natural colored one. But these are the ones that I grab when I know that the client is not getting a particularly long nail. They do have a half well. You can use it. I'm not really someone who focuses on using the full well or the half well. In nail school, you have to use half wells. Or full wells. Yep, you have to use full wells in nail school. But I honestly just stick the tip to the very tip of the nail. I find that if you have a lot of glue on the nail, you're more than likely to get lifting underneath that area because glue doesn't last very long on the nail. So I personally like to just stick it on the very tip of that finger, but you do whatever works for you. And after having made sure that all of the nail tips fit sidewall to sidewall, they're not pinching, they're not too large, we don't want that to be a cause of a surface breakdown. Now we are just clipping the nails down, and as you can see, they're not really that long, about a medium length for her, and we are going almond like I mentioned, so you're gonna see me use my straight edge clipper. I love this clipper to clip the length down. I'm matching it with her other hand, and then clip the sides of the nails because I'm gonna be filing, and I just think it just helps to, cut down the length and cut down the width, especially if I'm gonna be going for an almond shape. Instead of filing that square broad shape all the way down to an almond, I can kind of help myself out by clipping the sides a little bit. So that's just what I'm doing here. Now I'm just going to be going in with this hand file, and we're just going to be rounding out the tips of these nails. You did see before that I used my straight edge clipper to kind of remove some of the bulk from the side of the nail. We knew we were going to try this almondy shape, so I'm just quickly blending. I'm not really focusing on the blend too much, but just wanting to give it a preliminary blend. Anytime I'm filing like that, I like to scuff up the nail and the nail tip just to give myself a nice light blend, but we will go in with the sanding band a little bit later. But in terms of the almond shape, we're going for more of a broad, rounder almond versus a pointy almond. Whatever shape works for you. Honestly, there's no standard shape. Every client kind of wants their nails a certain type of way. So my suggestion in terms of doing non-square kind of shapes is to use a light hand and to go from one side to the next. You're going to see that I'm not spending too much time on one side. You don't want to overfile one side and then your nail's like crooked or leaning to the right or to the left. So just use a light touch and go from side to side, back and forth, so you can see down the length of the nail. And if your client has crooked fingers, imagine, like I'm always saying, a straight line down the knuckles of the nail. You don't want to do a crooked almond and then the client's nails going, sideways. So that's just my tip for that. quick blend, additional blend with my sanding band, same sanding band as before, and I'm just focusing on the smile line from where that natural nail touches the tip. I just want it to be a nice smooth transition. It's not going to play a big role, but it's just something that I like to do. Now we can get to it. It is time for prep. So I'm going in with my normal prep system. This is the Mia Secret dehydrator. Just making sure to get a nice good coating of it. We want it to dry out the nail so that whatever we apply on top has a nice sticky base and it is not interfering with any oil or moisture that might be there. This is the Extra Bond by Mia Secret. And then I'm gonna go in with the the not polished Extra Bond, the Triple X Bond. And I try to make sure to let the first primer kind of dry a little bit before going in with the second primer. And you can kind of see that I'm only focusing this second primer around the cuticle area because that's where my clients are prone to getting the most lifting. As you know, I like to go in with a clear coat of acrylic down the length of every single client's nails. It's just something that I've gotten into the habit of doing. I personally love it. And it helps me with return clients. So when they come back, I know that clear acrylic layer is underneath there for the most part. Sometimes I might, not do it for choice, but for the most part, it's just a really good thing that I have gotten into the habit of doing, but you definitely don't have to do that. You can totally go in with your colored acrylic. This is also a great tip if you're someone who doesn't go in and blend their tips. This also helps with that, so you can get a nice base on top of that tip and nail to kind of give yourself a smooth surface. But I love this for so many reasons. I'm using the Chiarosky nail brush. I have it pinched, I have it trimmed. It's been working for me. The only issue that I have with it is that it's not as dense as I'm used to, like in the amount of hair. The handle is really light and it's smaller than I think my other size 12 brushes are. So, size 14. So I might just be used to a larger, thicker brush, but it's a really good quality brush. So if you're someone who's looking for good quality brushes, definitely check them out. In terms of this clear acrylic layer, I'm just trying to focus on giving it a nice thin coating. You can see I'm pretty much swiping it off. I'm not trying to build up any type of structure with this clear acrylic. It's just being placed down to give myself a nice base, and also so that when the client comes back, then I have a visual guide to know where the natural nail is versus where the product is. So the main color of this set is a new cover color by Chiarosky. This is called Sweetest Pie, and it's one of those new covers that came out recently. I have been loving them. I've been using them a lot on my clients, and I just love the variety of undertones that the colors come in. So this one is called Sweetest Pie, and it is more of a neutral kind of brown, kind of beigey nail plate color. And I thought it would be a great base for this because it wouldn't be too pink. The colors that we're going to end up painting on top of these nails are a little bit more on the cooler side, so I figured using a cooler toned base would match really well. So because these are almond shaped, I don't really fold product over. Like if I have excess product, what I do with my almond tips is I try to work in smaller beads that are a little bit more manageable, and as you can see, I'm kind of rounding it out around the edges of that nail. That helps me to maintain that shape. I'm not warping it in any real way, and if you use the appropriately sized beads, then you won't have to, I guess, like fold over or remove any excess product. You can just kind of push it back in towards the center of the nail and then round out your edges. So you get like a nice round, I was gonna say nice and round together, a nice round kind of edge to your almond nails. So these aren't particularly long. I would say these are like a medium length, short to medium length. So I'm going to build up just a bit of structure. I will not be clear capping these nails. So you see me adding additional beads that I'm going to mainly focus towards the center of the nail, especially with the pointy or rounded nail. There's a lot of pressure that goes towards that center tip, and you don't want it to be cracking on clients. They'll be, like it's a little bit different than if you have a tip that's square. The pressure or the force is distributed across that length of the tip, right? But if it's a pointy, say stiletto or almondy kind of shape, all that pressure is down the center tip of that finger. So I try to always build up my almondy kind of shapes a little bit thicker towards that center area so that we have enough support so that you're not getting stress fractures, which are those cracks you get on the sides around the sidewall, and so that the nail doesn't just fly off when they, tap the tip of the nail. I'm using my, again, Kiara Sky monomer. I'm using the Kiara Sky cover color in Sweetest Pie, and every single nail is going to get this treatment. Once that is done, I like to go in with my e-filing. So I know the order may be a little bit different than you might see elsewhere, but this is just what works for me. Just going in with my favorite medium Carbide Bit. This is from Macart. I get it on Amazon and I have tons of them. I think medium is really great because fine is a little too fine. It's like a finishing file. Coarse removes too much product. Medium is just right, like Goldilocks, right? So I like this medium bit because it's coarse enough to debulk if necessary. So if I feel like I have placed too much product in one area, or say I want to thin out the cuticle area, I totally can. But then it's fine enough where I can finish file and get a nice smooth surface at the same time. So I have my e-file to a medium to high speed. It is not a safety, so do your best to be careful when working with these kinds of bits, especially around what I'm doing right now, the sidewall and cuticle area. Yeah, I'm just smoothing out the surface of the nail. Next, I'm going in with a hand file, and I'm just mainly focusing on cleaning up the shape. With clean acrylic application and e-filing first, I find that this is the process that takes me the least amount of time. And I've mentioned it before, like I don't want to be doing a ton of hand filing. Like it's exhausting, especially for this set. I had to hand file all of these nails into that almond shape. Like I'm not trying to be doing a whole bunch of filing. So I like to e-file first. And as you can see, I'm using super, super light pressure, and we are just maintaining that nice shape. Again, we are going for a rounded kind of almond, not a pointy almond that leans towards stilettos. I do have clients who prefer a more pointy kind of almond, but you know, like I said before, every client is a little bit different, and you just do whatever they want for the most part. You should be versatile and open to doing, you know, different things because every client is different. So I had this client wash her hands, and as she came back, I'm spraying her down with some alcohol and just using my manicure brush to clean off these nails. I don't know about you, but there's just something about a nude almond nail that just does it for me. It's so elegant. I just think, you know, just beautiful. So I've got my palette out. You know what that means. It means we are painting, right? So the color of the day is this purple. I don't remember what it's called, but I will link it below. It's from iGel Beauty, and we are going to create an ombre of color. So you saw I used a really big purple dollop, and then slowly the dollops of purple got smaller and smaller, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the white. So we're going to go from that dark purple to white, and I'm just eyeballing these colors. I'm mixing them up. I kind of want a nice even gradation from the purple to the white. I don't want too many colors to look too similar. So if I feel like these two colors are a little similar, I'm just going to grab a little bit more white, lighten it up, and then you're going to go from there. I think I only use 4 colors, so I skipped that fourth dot. I'm only going to end up going for 4 colors for the most part. So I'm just deepening up this second color because I was like, yeah, I think 5 colors might be a bit much. Let's lighten this one up so that we have a nice even gradation. So I saw this design on Instagram by Elise Nails, and I thought it was super, super cute. I was planning on doing it on myself, obviously on like a longer nail, but I thought it would be super cute on these almondy kind of nails. So we're actually going in with glossy top coat. We're finishing these nails right now before going in with our polish. That's because we're going to be sugaring the design a little bit later. So I just wanted to make sure that we did have the top coat down before going in with any of the additional add-ons. So this is my Not Polish Gloss It. Totally been loving the Not Polish top coats. I actually need to buy a new matte because it's finished. I love a matte nail, you know. So I'm just going in really lightly, giving her a nice finish. I'm going to have her cure for 60 seconds, and then we're going to move into the design. At this point, she could totally walk out, but she's not. So I saw this design again on Instagram by a nail artist called Elise Nails. She often does like these really cool challenges every month or so, and I've been, you know, using them as inspiration to come up with designs for my clients. But yeah, she recently posted like a blue set of like square nails, and it had like an ombre painting, like curved French, where it's like curved on one side. And it was like an ombre from like dark blue to like a light blue, and they were sugared, meaning she poured like glitter or some type of sparkle on top of the wet gel. So it was just really beautiful. Her nails were matte, so I did mix things up a little bit, and we are going purple as you saw. So I'm just using my favorite liner brushes. I talk about these brushes all the time on my channel. Super affordable, super cheap, and they work really, really well. Very, very handy if you're a beginner nail tech like myself. I've been doing nails now about 1.5 years. And I use them almost 2-3 times a week, so definitely worth it. I'm just gonna go on every single nail, and I say it all the time, you should switch back and forth and don't be like me. As you can see, I'm not having her cure, and I'm like uber clumsy, and I have really fidgety clients, so I don't know why I haven't learned my lesson yet, but you know, whatevs. So I'm just painting really, really thinly this nice white crisp line. And this is basically going to be the start of our French. I'm trying to make sure that the bottom part of the line, the one that's more towards the cuticle area, is nice and clean. The line at the top doesn't really matter because we're going to cover it with other colors, but I'm making sure to not make it super, super thick. I'm using a thin amount of polish, like a small bead on this brush. And whenever working with whenever you're doing like line work on a nail, it's always best to kind of just let the brush do the work for you, especially if you're doing like long lines, like I'm doing this long curve. If you do small strokes, you're going to have a lot of mistakes or errors or little tiny marks on the nail. You kind of just want to use a long striper brush, let the brush lay on the nail, and then kind of drag it along, and it's going to give you a nice smooth application. Once done with this color, I'm going to have the client cure for 30 seconds to lock this down. All right, so the next color up is that light lavender color that we custom mixed. You saw me mix it up on my palette, and I'm using the same brush. I'm just cleaning it off in between colors, and we're just going to follow the same line that we did with the white. So what I meant was, before when I said you don't really have to worry about being too careful with the top part of the line, this is why. Because every color is going to get superseded by another color, so you just need to focus on the bottom part of the line. When I say bottom, I mean the one that's more towards the cuticle area, but the top part, like towards the tip of the nail, will get covered by the following color. So I'm just going to follow this curved line that we're doing with every color that we mixed. So right now we started with white, we're going in with the lilac, then I'm going to go in with that deeper kind of plum color, and then the deep purple to finish. So at this point, I was looking at it like, this looks cool, but it wasn't until we added this deep purple color that it really, really kind of came to life. Totally love it. You can so see the ombre. It's super, super cute. And that purple, that deep purple that I'm painting now just kind of grounds all of those colors. And the ombre is like super subtle. The colors, like the purple is pretty dark, but since we used very minimal of it, it just looks really, really cool. So loved it. Didn't have to do too much. I'm not focusing on painting the actual sidewalls or the underside or tip of the nail. I don't really focus on that too much. I'm just getting that tip covered with the purple polish. We're gonna cure, and then this is done in terms of the gel application. So to sugar these nails, I'm actually going in with top coat because I had cured in between each layer of color. They're locked down. Those gel polishes will not adhere to any sugar. So I'm going in with my glossy top coat. This is Gloss It from Not Polish, and I'm very, very carefully painting over wherever we did the French ombre striping situation. I'm not going to cure, so this is still wet, as you can see. And then I'm going to take this iridescent white. It's actually like a sheer clear glitter, but it looks white in the container. This is by Recollections. I got it from Michael's a really long time ago, and it is so helpful. Usually when I'm doing glitter designs or anything like that, you can like custom mix it, but you're gonna see here, I'm just going to use the shaker bit and just shake that glitter on top of that gel polish that we just added, the gel top coat. It looks crazy. It totally looks like, why am I covering all this beautiful ombre with this white glitter? Oh my gosh, what's happening? But after she cures, it will just give you a nice subtle shimmer on top of the ombre. It's just super, super cute. So happy that I saw this design, but you'll definitely check it out. Once happy, you can tap off the excess and then have the client cure for 60 seconds to lock the sugaring down. Final thing to do is just take that manicure brush and just brush off all of the excess product of that glitter. I like to use a manicure brush because it's a little bit coarser. It really does scrape off any glitter that did not stick to any gel top coat, so you can see whatever is left over. And it's just a subtle bit of sparkle that I thought was so, so cute. We glossy topped the nails underneath, so she's basically done at this point. Here's what that set ended up looking like. You can just get a nice hint of that glitter / sugar, and the nude base with the purple ombre stripes, super, super cute. This client loved it, loved the shape, loved the base, loved everything about the set. Hopefully you love it too. Like if you like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.